Hello YouTube artist, I'm Kelly Hernig and welcome to In the Studio. Today I'm going to share my thoughts on the 100-day project. I've been wondering what I can do for it and I finally figured it out. So I'm going to give you a little bit of tips and show you my past examples of what I did for 100 days. This is going to be, I think, my 6th year. So when you are thinking about doing the 100-day project, I want you to remember it's not for everyone, right? Some people don't do well with deadlines, with projects that are continuous, and that's okay. I just want you to think about this before you do it, because there's nothing worse than starting it and 3 days in you're like, well, that was a waste of time. I don't even want to do that, right? So remember, it's not for everyone. Don't make it complicated. Really think about what you can do for 5 to 10 minutes a day and make it fun for yourself. If you can see yourself working 5 to 10 minutes every day, then I think you will find success, because you don't want to be overwhelmed, right? You don't want to make it so complicated that it's taking up all of your day. I set myself up where it just becomes a little simple habit for 100 days, and that's the way that I like it. For the 100-day project, here's the information for it. If you go to the website, the100dayproject.org, you can sign up for their newsletter, and their newsletter comes, I believe it's once a week, but it gives you tips on how to do it, how to break it down for yourself. I believe there's like even a study guide for yourself to help you along the way. It's a great community. They send you tips and prompts, information to keep you going, and it's just a great thing to sign up for. I found out about the 100-day project from Instagram, so it's hashtag the 100-day project, but if you do the @ and do the 100-day project, you will also see a lot of people, what they've done in the past, how they're signing up, getting ready to start the project already. This project starts February 22nd, which is why I'm doing this today. So I wanted to share this information with you just so that you know where to go and you can read all about it and understand it a little fully. In 2023, this was the project that I did for my YouTube channel to get it up and running again. So these are the last 3 years, and on my channel, if you just search for the 100-day project, you will have playlists for all 3 of these. My first one was all about colors. It was about taking 3 colors, any 3 colors, it didn't matter what kind. So you've got one gray color, a dark blue color, and like a cerulean blue color. And you mix one into the other, and then that was day 1. On day 2, I painted a leaf. So you can see this entire sketchbook on there. I did it every day on YouTube, and you can see the beautiful combinations that you get in there by just playing with color. And it's a great way to learn your palette, what it can do for you. Just randomly pick 3 colors. There's no rhyme or reason. I just picked what I wanted to work with that day, and away I went. It was simple. I went out to the yard and picked a leaf. I actually put the leaf down, traced around it, and then painted it with the color selection. So this was my first 100 days project, and it is just called the 100 days project. For the next 2, I worked inside of this concertina book. This one was, you can see a concertina book is something that unfolds, and I really like that aspect. So I was wanting to work with composition and just random things. So my next project was called 100 Days of Random Things, and that's exactly what it was. I just, again, placed it down, drew around it if I could, and then made it kind of design heavy in here because I really wanted it to flow and work with colors. And you can see it's just got a lot of different items, again, random things, but this whole book is full. I mean, I did my 100 days. I did 1 piece a day. So here I did one, or I did both of these was 1 day. The paintbrush was 1 day. The egg was 1 day. This giant leaf was 1 day. The bird was 1 day. So it's 100 items in this one. This was from 2024. And then I went all the way to the end here. And I actually just finished out the book so that I would have a finished journal on the one side, and then I flipped this concertina to the other side, that it has both sides. So for 2025, last year, I did 100 days of words and things. So this, I wanted to add words. I've been really liking lettering lately, so I'm trying to fit that in. Again, one thing at a time. So the little penguin up there was 1, the leaf was 2, the paintbrush or the pencil was 3, this wording was 4, this was 5, this was 6. So you can see one thing at a time, and it's just a wonderful way to tell the story. And I like seeing the letters, I liked finding the words. I set along a palette so the colors are all cohesive. And it was really fun to do. Again, I went all the way to here, and I've got a couple more pages to finish before this sketchbook is full, but it ended right here, was 100 days. So they were short and simple, and in this book, they took me anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, depending on what it was. The lettering took a little longer for me because I had to use a smaller brush and everything like that. But that is how my 100 days started. And I wanted to share with you how I discovered what I was going to do this year. This is a book that I've shared on here before. It's working 5 to 10 minutes a day, and it was for the class Circle of Delight. So as I was going through trying to figure out what I was going to do this year, a couple things popped into my mind. I wanted to continue doing lettering this year in my 100-day project because I've really enjoyed adding that to my art. And you can see that as I flip here, I started seeing, I like this little figure, how it's just half. I like this figure, that it's just a portion here. This little bird, it's just her head. Over here you can see it's just a sliver of a little mermaid. Here I've got the little dog. I've got a little figure here. And I really like the idea of them just peeking in. So let me bring that one up so you can see how cute. See, it's just a tiny sliver. And then her, the mermaid down there, you can see she's just a tiny sliver. And I was thinking, well, that's kind of interesting. What if I do something about making it just pop in and out, but not be like a whole thing filling a square? And so these were really my ideas. So I was like, I can run with this. So from there, I started looking around my studio, and I was like, what do I have that I could do something? I knew I didn't want to work in a sketchbook this year. So what I did was, Dick Blick had a sale on this paper. This is Fabriano 1264. This is 140-pound watercolors. It's 4x8, and there is 30 sheets in here. So they have it right now for $3.38. I ended up buying 4 of these, but for this project, I'm going to use 2. And here's what I did. I pulled them out. You can see it comes on a block, and I just pulled one out, and then I cut it in half. And this is what 100 4x4 pieces of watercolor paper look like. I'm pretty excited. I mean, it's a big stack. I haven't worked loosely for years, so I'm really looking forward to seeing where this goes. You can see how cute they are. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a little margin in, and I'm going to do the piece probably like 3x3 on each of these, or else 3.5 by 3.5. I haven't really decided my margins yet, but this is what I'm going to be using. And then I went looking for a certain color palette because I like to use palettes if I can. And I ended up deciding on this one. This is my studio palette from 2024. And this is the colors that this palette makes. You can see they're beautiful. I wanted something that I could really maintain a lot of dark darks with, and yet give me some light lights, but not too bright. So these are the 18 colors. This is what the palette makes for me. And then I will be using, of course, my favorite brush, which is the Long Round Princeton Aqua Elite number 8. And that is because of the point. I should be able to do everything with this. I might need a finer brush for lettering, but I haven't decided which one for that yet. So my palette, my surfaces, and my brush are already picked out. I already know what I'm doing there. So let me share what I'm doing for my 100-day project. I've got this broken down into categories. Again, remember I was showing you the book where it was just the sliver of things. You know, I collect all kinds of figurines. This one is one of my favorites. But what I really like about her is look at this little bee at the back end there. I like the little cupcake. She's just really charming. So I was like, well, what if I just wanted to see the bee and focus on that? So here's the drawing that I did. You can see it's all focused on the bee here. And I think what I'm gonna write is like bee bottom or something like that. Something that intrigues me from here and the reason for me doing it. I also have another precious moment here, and I loved his hat. And the way his hair is like kind of, it looks like just strokes of color. I really like that. So again, I only did from the neck up, and that's this guy down here. So let me show you that. So there is the one with the little bee, and there's one with his little head. So you can see that I'm not filling the entire space. So what I did for this one, I'm calling it oddities right now. And I really like the idea of just little portions of that, and they're going to be all different areas. So maybe one is coming down, maybe all you see is the feet. It just depends on what I find interesting. So that's number one, is oddities. The second thing that I've been keeping for a long time is magazine headlines. So just any kind of headline that suits you. I went through, I have a little tote, and I just pulled out some. So you can see I've just got a bunch of little pieces in here. I wanted to share with you some of the headlines so you can see what I mean. This one is QVC Sprouts. I just really like the word sprouts. This one is Hello Dove Gray. I've got the word number 5, the French Farm, always pretty. So what do these headlines mean to you? Draw everything around you. Again, I'm going to put the wording in there. Wild at heart. I love that. So what does that make you think of? For me, it makes me think of a zoo animal, right? Being in wild. Bumbleberry farms. I just really love that. And what does that conjure up? For me, it's bees and honey and everything that goes along with that. Look at this one. I really just like the word plucky maidens, and so I'm thinking of birds right away, you know, maybe some feathers, but I love the word plucky and maidens. The curious traveler. It just goes on and on. So these are some of the ones that I pulled out and I'll be playing with. So I did a little sheet with that, and it was called Headlines. My headlines for Hello Dove Gray was a dove that was gray. And so these will all be painted, but for showing you, I wanted you to get the way that it's going to look. And you can see it's really still off kilter, right? It's just him coming to the side, my writing. This next one was sprouts. So this will be in brown down here, and then just the green up here of the sprouts. So let me show you that. And this is headlines. Isn't he cute? And again, I'm having fun with the writing. I'm trying to just stylize it, make it interesting. So far I have oddities and headlines. I know, it's kind of wild, right? But here's my third thing. I am doing a little study right now on Joan Erdley's art, and I love her color combinations. I do not want to put this whole painting on a little card like this, because of course that would take forever. However, what I do want to do is think of a frame, cut it diagonally, see, into 2 pieces there. And what this becomes now is a crop tool. Watch what happens. See that you just move these and you get different shapes. Well, we know mine's a square. So that's what I will do. That little area there, or maybe all sky up here and just a little bit here. I want to stay with that oddity piece. You know, I want to make sure that I am just grabbing a piece of this. I love the lights and darks here. I really love this area down here. Look how pretty. And so by playing with this, I can get her some of her strokes, some of the different ways that this looks, but it's also going to give me a way to practice landscapes in a non-threatening way. Like, I don't want to sit there and be doing a total landscape of mountains and that kind of thing. Remember, I want to keep this 5 to 10 minutes. So something like this, where if I'm studying this, I want to quickly say, okay, what colors can I do to get this? How can I add the deep sky? How can I do this in 5 minutes and make it all about the marks, right? It's about working loose for myself, and it's about catching the brightness that she does. And I just like love the random marks here. So what I did for that was the word landscapes. And I want you to think about how fun that is by just doing a little snippet and trying to be loose and show your strokes and be spontaneous. That is what I'm going for landscapes. Now, these are just my drawings of what I shared with you. So that there is that little house, that is the sky, but you can see it's about the marks. It's about putting those little areas in that's going to make it move. And here was the area that I captured with the white flowers, and it's dark here and it's got that one little branch. Again, it's the movement there that I'm trying to capture in the landscapes. It's not about creating the whole beautiful landscape. It's about creating the feeling and capturing that in as few as marks as I can. So this was landscapes. So are you ready for what my 100-day project is going to be called? It is going to be called this year, Oddities, Headlines, and Landscapes. The reason I picked those was I knew I probably couldn't do 100 pieces of oddities. I knew I couldn't do 100 headlines. I knew I couldn't find 100 landscapes. And this way it's giving me a variety. It's making sure that I am doing something that connects to me. My figurines or tiny treasures, that is the oddities. I collect things, so that is where that comes in. The headlines, I have a big tote, and you saw the big pile that I already had. And the landscapes, it's studying an artist that I really love her art, but it's a way that I can do it in little bitty chunks instead of scaring myself that I have to do a big painting each time. So by doing them in this little size, I'm really looking forward to having a successful 100-day project. And by having the paper already done, the palette already picked, my decision making is done. It is just really finding a subject, drawing it out, and painting. That simple. And I hope this has shown you that you want the pieces that are going to connect to you, that you're already doing, that you can already break down a study for yourself. It's just a way of going forward into a project and that you're excited about doing. I'm excited because I've given myself 3 possibilities, not just one. So maybe one day I don't feel like painting a figure. I can let the quotes excite me. If I don't want to do the quotes, I can look in Joan Erdley's book or Shirley Trevina's book and get inspired by the landscapes. Giving yourself options will help and make it easier. I want you to think, what will keep you inspired for 100 days? That is my biggest tip. Remember, it's not for everyone, and don't make it complicated. You can see I've made it quite easy. I'm all ready to go, and it starts on February 22nd. So if you're joining the 100-day project, I would love to hear what you're doing. Please leave me a note in the comments so that I can root for you and wish you success, because it is a commitment. And I'm looking forward to 5 to 10 minutes a day. If you were inspired by today's video, please leave me a like or a comment. If you haven't subscribed, please click the button and make sure you click the bell so that you're notified whenever a new video comes up. And as always, thanks so much for watching.